Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm dating coach Naz. I'm just laughing because this is my 10th attempt to this intro. Anyways, today I want to talk about why women are drawn to men of faith. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it is a pattern that I am personally noticing in men and also women as well. And so I want to bring up a topic that can give you a bit of insight. And again, if you're somebody who is totally against, I guess, spirituality or just something bigger than yourself, and you're totally, not into being open to that and listening to that, that's completely fair enough. No judgment on that on my part. But I just want you to know that this video is going to be about that. So if you feel like that topic is super triggering to you, number one, I would say figure out why that is. And secondly, switch off. Actually, no, I wouldn't probably advise that to you. I'm just saying it because I'm just not somebody who tends to force people. I used to be that way, to be honest. I was somebody who was like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so closed-minded? That was my perspective, to be honest, back in the day. But now I realize that everybody is on their own journey. If somebody is coming to me and they're saying, just happened in the past, hey, I'm in this relationship and I'm with this man who's not emotionally connected to me, but I feel like I want to get married to him because, he brings money to the table or whatever. I can't, I can ask you questions, I can challenge your thought, but I cannot tell you what to do as a human being because we all have a free spirit. See, this is why I can't, I can't do intros because I can't stick on the topic. But basically, I can't tell you what to do because we all have a free will as a soul, right? So we decide, and when it's time for that soul to learn that specific lesson, it is going to learn that lesson. But no human being can, maybe I could motivate you and push you in that direction, but I can't actually make you do it. So that's one thing that I've realized. So anyways, let's continue on with this topic. So the first reason why women are drawn to men of faith, I'm going to put this down. Why are women drawn to men of faith? The first reason is inner strength. So most men try to become strong through their physicalities, which is going to the gym, eating healthy, working out, lifting weights, all those kind of things. But to be very honest, if you're all muscle and you work on your external self, but then deep down inside you don't believe in yourself, you don't love yourself. If you're a man who's constantly working on your external, going to the gym, lifting weights, working out, getting biceps, triceps, all those kind of things, which is fantastic. You're looking after your body. That's amazing. But at the same time, if we lack inner strength, and inner strength comes from your inner power, and that power can be found in the gym workouts and your food. It is found through stillness, meaning you sit with yourself, you're able to listen to all of those voices that are coming up for you. And if you're a man who finds your strength by going to the gym, working out, lifting weights, but then you lack inner strength, then the strength that is outside of you is going to really hold no power. There was this guy that I dated a long time back, and he didn't do any of this inner work, of course. And so he was somebody who was really, big and buff and tall and everything. But deep down inside, he was a very insecure shell of a man. And that affected, the amount of money that he was attracting. It affected, he couldn't attract anybody because he was so empty inside and he was looking for something outside of himself. And that is why he needed to look so good to get that validation. And unfortunately, I was not the one to give him that validation. And so when a man has faith, and again, I'm talking about men who might be religious, who might be spiritual, but when a man has faith, and it could be faith, through religion, through their spirituality, whichever method they're using, then faith gives men the resilience to face any challenges that comes their way because they know that they're not here by themselves. There's something that is guiding them, there's something that is helping them throughout these experiences in life, which makes them more dependable partners, and which is why a lot of women would prefer a man who is of faith based. Now, I do want to preface this and say that not every religion, or just because somebody says I'm religious, doesn't mean that it's always, holy. Because a lot of people that say, hey, I'm religious or I follow this, deep down inside, they might be doing the complete opposite, which is cognitive dissonance. When you say one thing, but you're doing the complete opposite. So again, don't just fall for what people are saying. You have to actually watch their action. So that's one thing that I do want to mention, because I do know there's people out there that say, hey, I go to church every Sunday, or hey, I go to the Durban Meher, or hey, I go wherever, but then they're cheating on their wife, or they're stealing with their partner, stealing money from their partner. So don't always go for the words, always look for their actions. Secondly, women are drawn to men of faith because they also will most probably have emotional depth. And this is one of the biggest ones that I learned when I was a matchmaker. One of the repetitive things that kept coming when I would match a man or woman, and then I would speak to the woman individually and the man individually, and usually the woman would say, he's not that deep. He talks a lot about himself. He's not a good listener. The list goes on. And so one of the ones which I noticed myself with men is that spirituality is also going to open up the door to self-reflection, awareness, and emotional maturity, which will then allow men to connect with themselves on a deeper level, which will then in return, he'll be able to connect with you on a deeper level. Emotional depth has to do with also your environment, the friends that you choose to keep, because a lot of the times we surround, and this was me, by the way, in high school, I used to have friends, and even later down the line, that didn't truly align with my values. Okay, so I believed in something that they didn't quite understand. So what happened was you become the combination of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So if you're going to be surrounded by people who don't believe in anything bigger than themselves, they make fun or they mock, religion or spirituality and all those kind of things, then most probably you are going to fall under that same trap, which is a trap, because it's like, I'm too good for this. I don't need to learn about this. This is all a bunch of BS. And so you basically are then saying to the universe that I'm not open. I'm closed-minded. And when you're closed-minded, that is when what you're looking for is not going to come to you, because you're closed and you're not able to believe in magic. And magic can only happen in your life. Miracles can only happen in your life if you truly believe it. If you truly are a pessimist and you believe that we're just here to pay a mortgage and pay for our bills and then die, like that's why we're here, then we need to really, ask ourselves deeper questions, because that's really not it. Last but not the least is authenticity. A strong faith or a spiritual practice is going to keep men grounded in their values, grounded in their truth, which then is going to create a strong sense of identity of who they truly are. They're not living with a mask. They're not living with a facade to please a bunch of people, please their parents, please their friends. So they like who they are. They truly are not scared of connecting to who they came here to be, and they don't give 2 shits about what people say about them. Okay, for me, that is what authenticity is when you don't give 2 shits what your parents or what your friends think about the path that you are choosing. My entire life, I lived being an inauthentic human being. And so once I went through my dark night of the soul, all I can be now and all I can do now is be authentic, because I know that life I wasn't living back in the day. I was living somebody else's life. I wasn't living my life. And I don't want to die knowing that I didn't live my life. When I chose to get my divorce, I chose a path that was so difficult for me, that was I couldn't really, how much ever I would explain to somebody, they will not understand because they're not in my shoes. Only a person that is going through the dark night of the soul, a very traumatic experience, is going to, nobody's going to really be able to understand that. And so what I realize is that in that moment in time when everybody's telling me don't do it or do this instead, and they're giving me their 2 cents, I had to say, shut the F up. And I had to say, I'm following me now, because my entire life I have followed what my parents thought I should do, or what I thought my friends think I should do. And I was like, that is it. Look where it's gotten me. I realized that, I mean, I'm not blaming it on them, but I'm just saying that it was my fault. And I realized that I was a follower. I was following people, even at the detriment of my own well being, right? So that is an example of being authentic, meaning I don't give a shit what anybody, my mom, my dad, nobody, my friends, have to say about the decisions that I'm making, because I know that it is what my soul is asking me to do and what I really need in that moment in time. Okay, so that's an example of, because a lot of people get confused. Oh, I'm authentic, I'm real, like I'm just honest. Like that's not, like, yeah, it is, kind of what that means, but it has a deeper meaning to it. So hopefully that story kind of explained to you what that means. And I feel like right now, that is what women are missing whenever they're dating a man and he is a follower. And that is one thing that I see women are yearning for in men, and men are missing quite a lot of times. So, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. And also, do not forget to like, subscribe, share this video with somebody who really needs it. And also, if you want to know how to work with me, check my links down below. And I will see you guys in my next video.